thank you again for joining me. So I'm interviewing
Moomaw.
Moomaw. All right, about Birdhaven.
Yes.
How old were you when you first visited Birdhaven?
Oh, probably in my middle teens.
Middle
15
teen.
or 16.
And what was something, or why did you go down there?
I probably went with my father down there to take lumber down to the big planer, which was the only one in the area.
So you would bring the lumber to Birdhaven?
Yes.
And what did your father do?
He worked in the woods, and he was director of the conference center here also.
Oh, okay. Was he like a lumberjack of some sort, or?
No, he just had a truck and hauled lumber for folks.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you were around 15 or 16. What did you like about Birdhaven?
Well, I thought it was a unique place. Seemed to be a lot. I didn't see much that was going on, but I had seen the things that they made, like bowls and serving bowls and Lazy Susan, and things like that.
So you were just interested in just seeing how they put it together.
Mm-hmm.
Were you interested in carpentry at all growing up?
Not a lot. No, I was not.
Just kind of thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you started going with your father, right? Around 15, 16?
Yes.
When did you start going by yourself?
Probably sometime after 16, because that's when I had a driver's license. I could get myself there.
Okay. Would you go relatively often?
No. But probably average once a month, maybe.
Once a month. Did you go with your friends more or by yourself?
Usually by myself.
By yourself. And what kind of things would you do there by yourself?
Well, I would basically just walk around and look, and I worked in the flower garden for the owners of Birdhaven.
Oh, really?
Where they lived. I pulled weeds in the flower garden for them.
Did they live on the compound?
They lived on the compound.
So what was it like to work for these people?
It was fine. It was great. They treated me very well.
So they seemed like nice.
Oh, yes. Very nice people.
Nice people. Did you ever was it like a very like lavish house, or was it
No, I was never in it except maybe on a porch or something or the kitchen. That's as far as I was.
Do you remember the names of the people?
I think one of them, I think it was a son or a stepson or something, was John Gray Paul.
John Gray Paul.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember the gentleman's name. He and his wife that owned it. I assume someplace along the line one of them was a Paul.
A Paul?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. What was the stepson like? Was he nice as well?
Yeah, he was very nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was he around your age or?
No, he was much older, about twice as old as I was.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. And so I guess you did kind of have a job at Birdhaven.
I did, just working in the garden, nothing to do with the woodworking part of it.
Did you make any friends of other people that might work there?
Well, I was friends with some. I knew some of them.
Do you mind telling us about some of them?
Well, they were local people who were good at woodworking. That was their livelihood, and they were very good carpenters. Most of them, and the other folks were just they went there and they learned their job. They gave them a job and showed them how to do it, and they went on from there.
So there was like specialty workers and then just regular workers.
Yes.
So I'm guessing you spent more time watching the specialty workers.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So do you say like this Lazy Susan right here?
Yes.
Would you say that they like hand carved the middle area?
No, I think they had tools to do that.
Oh yeah.
Called like a lathe.
Mm.
They would put the wood in there, and then I think they called it turning it with a sharp instrument with do those things for them. If you
But
could
it
do
was-
that, if you held it in the right at the right place, it would do that for you.
Yeah. Okay. So, but it's like someone was like had to make all those
Right.
designs. And stuff.
Exactly.
That's really cool. Did were you ever interested in doing that yourself, or did you just like to?
No, I was not interested in that. I knew I couldn't do it there, so
Yeah. Were they older people doing this, or were they around your age as well?
they were older people, older folks.
Okay. What did or did you ever see any like children or anyone around your age around Birdhaven as well?
Well, now and then there would be someone there, but I don't recall who they were or what they were doing. I knew them most of the time.
Okay.
It was neighborhood people.
Oh, were there also neighborhood people going there for fun, just to check it out, or would they?
I think they may have been children of their parents may have worked there.
Oh, okay, and they were just with their
just
parents.
there, yes.
Okay. So with this job that you had, did that cause you to go to Birdhaven more, or did you go just for this job?
I think I just went for that job basically in the summertime, not much in the wintertime.
So just like once a month to pick weeds?
Probably more often than that. I don't recall that right off, but I think it was more often than that.
So you would go sometimes for the job and sometimes just for fun?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. You grew up in this town around
Yes.
here, is that correct?
Yes.
So what were some things that you would do for fun around here?
Well, it wasn't a lot to do. It was when I was growing up, all the kids were boys, so we played baseball a lot and football and things like that, and that's about all. And hiked in the woods, played in the woods, and things like that.
That's cool. Did any of your friends ever come to you to Birdhaven?
I don't recall that they did. No,
Just
just
hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were there any other like kind of places like Birdhaven that you would also visit?
no. There's nothing else around in the vicinity like that.
When you first went, like the very first time you went there with your father, what was like your first impression of this place?
That was a pretty neat place, and I thought it was a lot of people worked there. It seemed to me, but I don't have no idea the number. But
It just seemed like this big sprawling
Mm-hmm.
metropolis thing. Did you ever think that you would work there at all?
No, I never,
No.
because I was too young at the time.
Mm.
By the time I was old enough, it almost closed down.
Oh, okay. Did you have family that worked there at all?
Uncle, that's all.
Your uncle. What did your uncle do?
I think he sanded a lot of the
The tools.
sanded the finish off on them when they were through.
So he wasn't. Would you maybe say that he was more of like the artisan type, or more of just the like worker, like
I'd say just a worker.
just a worker?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's cool. Do you remember what he thought of Birdhaven?
Well, basically, I guess he thought it was a job,
Mm-hmm.
which was hard to come by close to home then,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I just thought it was a job.
Okay, that's fair enough. What did your parents think about Birdhaven at all?
Well, they thought it was great for the community. It gave a lot of the folks in the community work. And,
So Birdhaven kind of created a bunch of like home decor kinds of things.
Yes, a lot of individual salad bowls and
Mhm.
and bigger serving bowls, all wood up, all about that shade. I think they were made from maple, and all about that. I'm just all about decorating the home and using them to serve food out of and eat out of.
So were these did people around this town really like rely on Birdhaven for these things? Like did they like buy a lot of the goods that
I think
Birdhaven
they did,
sold?
and yes, and they had a shop where you could buy
Oh, on the place.
I think so, yes.
Place.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you ever go into that shop?
I probably did, but I don't recall what it. Don't recall anything about it.
Okay. So. So they made a lot of like bowls and tools around there. So was your father supplying a lot of the lumber that they used for these?
No, I think that when he went down there with lumber, it was for his own use or for a neighbor who wanted something done, and he would just haul it down there for him.
So when you say for his own use or for a neighbor's, he wouldn't sell the lumber to Birdhaven. He would just kind of use the machines
that
they would use.
Yes.
Okay.
I assume they charge for it. I really don't know.
Mm-hmm. What kind of things would he make with it?
I don't know that it was basically for house building construction. I don't know that he made anything else. Basically, in the building.
Okay, just so like yes, getting like a full like tree trunk into
lumber and like weatherboarding, like on the side of the house and things like that.
Okay. What kind of? Do you remember? Was it like maple also the wood that he would use?
No, probably most of it was oak or pine.
Oak or pine. Okay, that grows a lot.
Yeah,
right. So did you ever get into any trouble at Birdhaven?
No, don't recall that I did.
Okay, that's good. Not even with the family.
Right.
That's good. So the family liked you that you worked for.
Yes.
That's good. So what would you say maybe one of your favorite memory of Birdhaven?
No, I don't know. I guess just being there and when I went there to work, just to have something to do.
Over the summer?
To make a little money.
Did they pay well?
No, I guess they paid the going rate at that time.
That's true. Did you ever get to go inside any of the factories at Birdhaven?
No, I don't recall that I did. Don't remember going in any of the factories.
So how would you view them?
You could, they had windows or an open door or something like that.
Okay, and you would just stand there and watch?
Yeah, just stand outside.
And no one minded?
No, they didn't seem to mind.
Did anyone ever come up to you or like talk to you or ask like what you were doing there at all? No. Was it would you say it was like busy there, like there were people moving around a lot, or was it just kind of people doing their jobs and
just kind of people doing their jobs? There was not a lot of.
There wasn't much like movement going on.
No.
So could you maybe tell me what Birdhaven kind of looked like? Do you think you maybe like describe some of the things that you remember about it?
Well, it was a large, long building divided into rooms where they did different jobs. One of them was the post office, and one was where they put them together, and one had the tools in to make them in the shape they wanted, and then one was where they stained them or put the finish on them. And I guess one was where they packed them up and mailed them off to folks who had ordered them.
Okay. So it's just one building?
I remember it as being one long building that was divided into separate spaces.
Okay. So I hear there's a toy building at Birdhaven. Was that attached to the long one?
I'm sure it was. I don't recall. I don't know.
Okay. Do you remember any other features that might have been at Birdhaven?
No, I don't recall.
So how would you usually get to Birdhaven as a kid?
Usually I would be riding with someone, and when I worked in their gardens, that usually they would come pick me up and take me and bring me home.
Oh, the owners?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. How far away is that drive, would you say?
I think it's about 2 miles, 2.5 maybe.
2.5 miles? Okay. That's pretty nice of them to...
Yeah, yes. Sometimes I ride my bicycle.
That's not that far.
No, that's not far.
Very nice in the summer ride.
Yes, right.
In the mountains. So So you started dating your wife at that time. Is that correct?
About then when we were in high school, yes.
So you're in school. Did you ever bring her down to Birdhaven?
I don't recall that that I did. I don't remember that.
Okay. Where would you like usually go with her? Like if you were to take her out
I
somewhere?
would go to a movie at Mount Jackson or Woodstock or.
Okay. Oh, like decently far away, like driving or. Is
Yeah, like driving. Yeah. 15, 20 miles away.
So your father was involved in the lumber / resort.
Yes.
Did your mother have any jobs?
No, she did not. She was
Stayed.
she was stay-at-home mom.
Okay, that's cool. So what did your father do at the resort?
He was the director.
The director.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
the whole place.
The whole place, yes.
Oh wow. Okay. So that's a pretty big job.
Yes.
You would say. That's fun. Did you ever help him out with the resort?
I worked there till I got out of high school, and then I went to work for the telephone company, and then I became a director in 1988.
Of the resort?
Yeah, I moved back home in 1973 and became the director in 1988.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
Did people from the resort know about Birdhaven?
They probably did in the early days, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But after it closed, then they didn't know much about it.
Yeah. So when Birdhaven did close, how did you feel about that?
Well, I don't believe I was here then. I think I was out on my own, either in the military or working away from here.
Did you ever stop by it after it shut down?
I've been there sometimes. Yes, they've.
Sorry, just read some of the questions. So what would you say maybe your favorite memory of Birdhaven would be?
No, I guess seeing the different people do their jobs and
what was your favorite job to watch?
I guess the people using the lathe was the favorite job that intrigued me. But
That's cool. Did you ever get into woodworking after seeing these people?
No, I got to play around with it a little in high school. That's all.
Okay. So your uncle worked in Birdhaven too.
Yes.
How close would you say you were with your extended family around this town?
How close am I with the?
With were you close with your uncle and
yes,
aunt
yes,
and all of them?
Yes.
So he just looked at Birdhaven as like a 9 to 5 job.
I think he went there right after high school. I don't know how long he worked there, but then he eventually moved and moved away and worked someplace else.
Yeah. Same kind of thing?
No, it was different type work.
So did so did you ever? So you never really thought about working there?
No,
correct.
No, that's correct.
Was there a reason for that?
Well, I wasn't old enough, and by the time I got out of high school, and then I left for the military, and after that, it was closed.
Oh, okay. So it's not that it wasn't anything about Birdhaven. It was just kind of bad timing for it.
Just that, right? Yes.
Okay. So Birdhaven was different than some other factories.
Oh, I think so. Yes.
Did you notice anything that kind of seemed different, either from what you've seen before or after?
Well, it was a lot of handwork. It wasn't really all that mechanized.
That's interesting. Yeah. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Did the people seem any different than people?
No, they were basically all local people and knew each other, and I think they got along fine.
Just okay. So it was like people from around this town.
Around the community, yes.
Was this one of the communities that everyone seems to know each other?
Yes, yes.
So did you know, maybe not like, you weren't close, but did you know a lot of people that
I did.
worked there?
I did, yes. I knew a lot of people who worked there.
Do you remember anyone in particular?
Well, there were a couple of men who seemed to be the supervisors who were really good woodworkers and knew how to do most anything with wood. And I think they worked there most of their life. And they were much older than I.
And they lived around here?
Yeah, they lived, well, within a 10 or 12 mile radius of here. Mm-hmm.
Did you ever talk to them?
Well, I knew them. I talked to them, not a lot, but
Mm-hmm.
just in passing or something.
Okay. So, besides like the giving people jobs, how else was Birdhaven important to the community?
Well, I guess they thought a lot of it. It was a neat place to go, and they would let you walk around. You could walk up and down the road that was there and appear and look in the buildings and see what was going on. They never didn't object to that.
People would go down to Birdhaven to.
I'm sure. Yeah, they would not regularly, but every once in a while they would drive down there just to see what was going on.
Yeah, you included, I guess.
Yeah, right. Me included.
That's funny. So we heard, learning about Birdhaven, we heard about some other people talk about just some like almost paranormal things about Birdhaven, like the river that ran through it had like magical powers. Did you ever?
No, I've never heard that. No.
No.
Haven't heard that.
Yeah, apparently, some people thought that it.
Well, most of the water in the wells around here was iron water, and there were a lot of springs with different kinds of water in them, different minerals in them. So, and a lot of folks thought that it was good for you.
Yeah, it was iron water. Is that safe to drink?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think so.
That's cool. Is that where this area gets its water from?
Yeah, well, from springs, yes.
Springs around there. So besides Birdhaven, were there like other places you would visit in the summer?
Well, I don't know, not particularly, but basically just around here, and we were.
Okay. So did you notice? So when you came back to this town, did you notice any like changes that had occurred here, like after Birdhaven closed?
No, after it closed, I think a lot of folks had to go elsewhere for jobs, and they, of course, that meant a little more travel for them, and leave a little earlier and get home a little later.
Oh, so they still lived here? They
yes, still yes.
Was there any like large migration of people out of this town?
No, it was not.
No. Okay, that's good. So people still
stayed here and traveled to their occupation.
Yeah, things are a little far from.
Yeah, right.
Here, it might be a bit of a journey. Okay. So, did you ever hear people say anything negative about Birdhaven?
No, I have not.
What about anything positive in particular?
Well, people thought that what they were doing was worthwhile, and as long as people were buying it, they thought they were doing something that was needed.
So people, you would say, like their job there?
Yes.
So there was so we mentioned that there was kind of like craftsmen that worked. What would be some of the jobs that the non-craftsman workers would do?
Well, sanding and putting the finish on the finished product, and I assume they packed them up to be mailed away, and probably sawing them to the length or shape they wanted them in.
Okay. So the craftsmen would be the ones that put together the whole thing.
Yes,
and then...
yes. I'm sure they had a pattern or something to go by, so that, or maybe they made the same thing all the time. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Did you ever go or check out like the toy section?
I don't know. I didn't do that.
Do you ever see any like artists around or people like drawing at Braidhaven?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So did the people ever recognize you at Braidhaven when you would go down there?
Yeah, I think some of them did. Probably, yes.
Would they like say hi to you?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it was friendly?
Yeah, just friendly. Yeah, very friendly.
Would they ever like give you anything like a souvenir?
No, I don't recall that I've ever got anything from there.
So about this the supervisor's family that you worked with, do you mind telling us a little bit more about them if you remember?
Well, what I remember is they were local people, and I think we talked about they were very good woodworkers, craftsmen with the wood. And
so did they do any of the crafting at Birdhaven?
I'm sure, I don't know that, but I'm sure they had a hand in it somehow or another, but how to put it together and how to make the parts to go together and things like that.
So they weren't like the owners, were they?
No, they were not.
They were just like people, like managers watching over.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever meet the owners of Birdhaven?
I assume I did. I assume the people who lived there when I worked in the garden they were the owners then. I don't know if they were the original owners or not, but they were the owners then.
And in the gardens?
They owned the gardens and they owned the factory.
Oh. How big were the gardens at Birdhaven?
Probably 20 by 20 or 30 by 20 by 30 or something like that.
So like a person, was it like a house garden, or was it like a place that you could like go into?
It was just a big flower garden. They had all kinds of flowers.
That's pretty interesting.
And with paths you could walk through it. And
so it's like, okay, so it was like a factory, but it had this nice scenic area
where the owners lived, right? Mm-hmm.
Okay. Could workers go into the flower garden at all?
I don't recall seeing any there.
Were you? Yeah, sorry. Were you the only one that was in charge of upkeep of it?
Well, I wasn't in charge of the upkeep. I was just an employee, and I was the only one there when I was there. I don't know if anybody else worked there or not.
Oh, okay. But yeah, but it was basically just you
yes.
cleaning up the
mm-hmm.
the flowers.
Mm-hmm.
How did you like that job?
Well, at the time it was okay. I didn't mind doing it. It was when I was young and
it's nice.
Didn't want to do anything. Yes.
That's cool. What kind of flowers do they have?
I haven't the foggiest notion.
That's understandable. So, would your father, when he was doing lumber work, would he get the wood himself, or would he buy it for people? Or
he would get it usually from local folks, people who had worked in the woods and the sawmills to make the lumber and saw the lumber. He would usually get it from them. Or
so was he into construction, like into building?
Not really. It was just for the repair of the buildings around where he worked.
The resort, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So could you maybe tell me a little bit about the resort? What that was like?
Well, part of it was built right after the Civil War.
Oh.
And then the Shrine Monte, that part of the conference center was started in 1925. So both of them have been here a long time. And it was they've always been a warm weather up, usually open the 1st of April and close the end of October. And the springs were the drawing crowd, like we spoke about the water at the, there was a lot of springs around, and they were supposed to be good for you, so they had them around for you to drink, had water around where you could drink it, and
that's pretty cool.
It was supposed to help you.
That's pretty nice. So being a child there, what kind of things would you do for fun around the resort? Or would you help your dad more?
I'd help my dad some, and it wasn't, well, they had a golf course at one time, and I would caddy on the golf course for some of the folks. It was a pretty crude golf course, but it was exercise. And they had a small bowling alley, and I had to set the pins by hand, didn't have any automatic pin setters.
Was that your job?
I did that. Now and then.
That's fun. That's funny.
Yeah.
Did you get paid for it, or were you just helping your dad more?
No, I got paid for it. The bowling alley was contracted out. Somebody else ran that, and I just worked for the gentleman or the folks who were managing of the bowling alley, and they paid me.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice addition to a resort. Is a bowling alley.
Of course, they don't have that anymore. It was.
Oh really? They got rid of it?
Yeah, a long time ago.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
That's cool. Did you ever have goods from Birdhaven in your own home?
We have some.
Yeah. Growing up, I mean.
Yeah. Yes, we had some. Yes, we did. Mm-hmm.
Nice. I'm guessing like bowls and stuff.
Right. Yes.
Did you ever have any of like the toys or just like the special?
I don't recall having any toys.
Do you, perchance? I know they made puzzles there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if they made any other sorts of toys?
I think they probably this. I don't know that there were any that you could pull or push around and move. Just the kind that would sit on a shelf and for decoration.
Okay,
that's what I think they were. I don't really recall that, but that's what I think they were.
Yeah, that's the easiest thing, I guess, to make for a toy.
And they may have made the ones you could move around, pull, or on wheels, but I don't recall seeing any of those.
Okay. Did you ever see any like very young children running around Birdhaven?
No, I don't recall seeing any young children.
No. Did you see any children at all, or? Oh,
now and then, but not any young children. Maybe 12 in the teenagers would be about all I remember seeing.
Would you ever talk to them?
Oh yeah, they were from the community. We were friends.
Okay. Yeah. Did you did you ever hang out with them at Birdhaven?
No, we never hung out there. We were just there to. I don't know for what reason we may have been there, but we weren't there as a group or anything like that. We just happened to be there at the same time.
Would you ride your bikes there with them or walk back or just kind of pass them and say hi and then?
Just kind of pass them and say hi.
Okay. Would you ever hang out with them like in this town?
Yeah, we were around all the time. We were doing things.
So would you like hang out, maybe like play a baseball game?
Right, play baseball. Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Did you have like a best friend growing up that you would spend a lot of time with?
Probably it was one of them here that I played baseball with a lot, who was a little older than I, and she happened to be the closest neighbor at the time.
Do you remember?
We hung out a lot together.
Do you remember his name?
His name was Richard Funkhauser, he's deceased. But
would he ever go to Birdhaven?
I'm sure he did. I just don't recall
Seeing him there.
Okay.
So would you ever spend any days like maybe during the summer like helping your mother out around?
Yeah, we had a pretty large garden, so I worked in the garden with them.
You're a bit of an expert on that.
Yeah. They thought I was, but I really wasn't.
How did you end up getting the gardening job?
I guess the folks down there probably knew my dad and knew that I was around here and wanted to know if I wanted to work a couple of days a week or something like that.
And did you enjoy? Yeah, you enjoyed the job.
Yes, I did.
That's good. What other sorts of jobs did you have around this time? I know you worked in the bowling alley. You worked in the garden.
That was about it, and I would mow lawns for folks around. So usually not for pay, just to have something to do to keep me out of trouble. I guess they gave me something to do.
That's nice. So yeah, good of you.
Yes.
To do. So were there would you you're like a teenager with like a bit of money, what would you usually buy with this? Did you ever did you save it up for something big, or did you just kind of
I just kind of spent it on whatever I saw that I thought I wanted.
do you remember anything, like any fun purchases that you made?
No, I don't recall any right now. I wasn't saving for anything. I wasn't saving for an automobile or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. It's maybe like a Coca-Cola.
Probably saving to get a bicycle when I was.
Yeah.
And to buy baseball gloves and bats and things like that. That's all.
That's fun.
Yeah.
It was good summer toys. Did any of your friends have jobs as well?
Yeah, they worked at the resort doing different jobs. Some of them, I think some of them were dishwashers and bus boys, and I don't know, probably worked on the golf course too.
That's fun. So what did you enjoy more, the bowling alley job or the gardening job?
Probably the gardening job because it was outside.
Oh yeah, that's so. How are summers here? Does it get too hot or?
No, not for a very long time. It might be 2 or 3 real hot days, and then it cools off. The nights normally cool off nicely.
Okay, yeah, because we're in the mountains. I think it'd be.
We're in the mountains, and it
pretty chill.
That helped. Yes.
That's good. So during the winter, what would you? It's harder to go outside and do these things. What were some other fun things to do around here during the winter?
And just go sledding when it snowed around on the. As you see, there's a lot of hills around, so it wasn't any trouble to find a place to slide.
That's true. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Did you so people still, I'm guessing, still worked at Birdhaven during the winter time?
Yes.
A full-time job?
Yes.
Would you ever go down during then?
I don't recall that I was down there in the winter time.
Was it when was about the last time that you went to Birdhaven?
I don't know, I was down there a couple of years ago. Nothing going on, but I just, for some reason, I drove down there just to see what was going on, what was there, what was still left.
That's cool. What did you see that was different?
The building's in a pretty bad state of repair at the time, but I haven't been there for a number of years.
Okay. Did it bring back any memories or?
Well, I remembered walking through the buildings or walking by them and looking in to see what was there.
Those happy thoughts,
yes,
happy memories.
Yes, they were.
That's cool. That's really cool. Okay. So I guess I just have one final question. So, if you could describe Birdhaven in one word, what word do you think that would be?
Unique, I think.
Unique.
Yeah, it was not. I never saw any other place like it.
And what exactly, or what do you think made it unique?
Well, with all the folks doing the work by handcrafting, because in that time there wasn't a lot of machinery around, I guess. But they had machinery, to like lathes and saws and things like that the average person didn't have, and it was just a unique place to go and walk up and down the street and look in the buildings.
That's really cool. That's very interesting. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for doing this interview with me.
Yes, sir.